Well, yeah, certainly. I mean, it was our fault. We made a mistake. Spotter said it was clear. It wasn't clear, and, I didn't want to tear my car up, tear his car up either. I respect everybody, and I demand respect. And, I apologized to the guy when he came over the car, explained to him what happened, and then he took it to another level when he started calling me an idiot and whatever else. And I don't appreciate that. I'm not going to take it. I told him how I felt. I called him out. He didn't show. And so, I'm good with it if he's good with it, but I'm not going to be disrespected by no means.
Yeah, I guess I had a dinner date at Applebee's last night that I didn't find out until it was too late. It's a shame. Love their riblets and boneless wings, but...
All right, folks, welcome back to Meet Me at Applebees, your number one unrefined motorsports podcast. It's Brian here with Rob and Ashley. We got... fucking Vegas to talk about, and Super Dirt Week, and Thompson, God knows what the hell else. So, folks, how are you doing this week?
I'm doing good. Yes, the chair. We'll talk about chairs later on. I finally got all my papers organized over here, and I'm ready to do the show. How about you, True Love?
Yep, just flipping through. I got them alphabetized.
Okay, all right. Well, glad you guys got your paperwork sorted out. So, Vegas, let's see here. There was no ARCA race. There's no truck race. None of that shit happened. It was just Xfinity and the Cup. Let's start with Saturday night. Saturday night, Las Vegas. It was a race. I'll admit, and I already told Ashley this, I was only barely paying attention to it because Super Dirt Week was on, and that took priority. So I only had the Xfinity race going on my phone until the last 70 laps. So that's about all I really noticed.
Yeah, like I said to you guys before we kicked the show off here, this race is but a rumor to me. I did not see a second of this. So over to True Love for the definitive Applebee's breakdown of the Andes frozen custard fucking TSA 300 from Vegas or whatever it was called.
Really not that many notes about it. Eric Almirola won stage 1 and stage 2.
Oh, and 3.
And 3.
Damn.
So.
No wonder Justin Bosner lost his job.
It was really the Almirola, Zilich, and Love show, because they were kind of up front swapping spots and battling all night long. So, they did put on a good show, but Eric still stunk it up at the end. So...
Yeah, I like I said, I didn't see a second of this, but it is amazing how Eric Almirola has just figured out how to get it done. He's super good in an Xfinity car, man.
Well, when you're driving one of the best cars on the track, that doesn't hurt either. So.
Yeah, to be fair, Justin Bonsignor didn't do much in it, so I guess.
Well,
not to shit on my home team here, but I think Eric has more than earned at least a little bit there. How many races has he won in that car this year?
3, I think. I don't know. Yeah, too many.
Too many, yeah.
Did have Trevor Bayne in a fun little SpongeBob scheme for some reason.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was out there. I don't remember him doing anything on the track. Don't even remember him being in the race till he mentioned it. But
yeah, people don't give a shit about Trevor Bayne anymore, because I never heard a second about that, but.
Yeah, I don't really have any notes. There weren't any crazy wrecks or anything. The cars were fun to watch though. Those Xfinity cars at Vegas are real dancey and on edge the whole time.
So
Zilich was super loose.
What was
the 10 laps?
The Jesse Love Nick Sanchez shit about? Because again, I went and looked for anything egregious and I didn't really see.
Yeah, I feel like the broadcast didn't do a great job of showing us exactly why he was mad, but I do know that in the last 10 laps or so, Sanchez was making some really aggressive moves up front. He made an aggressive move on Zilich, and then he made contact with Almirola, and then he got sideways at one point trying to pass Jesse Love, and apparently Allgaier was pissed off at him after the race too, so I think he's just doing Sanchez things.
The usual routine, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
The only person that confronted him about this was Jesse Love, which two fun moments. One, just the confrontation in general was funny. Sanchez was doing his normal sly, like, kind of just deny anything he was doing, and Jesse Love was swearing up a storm, and then let's see, Sanchez like kind of pushed his arm a little bit, and then Jesse pushed him back a tiny bit, and then one of Sanchez's crew members goes, touch him again, and that was fucking stupid. And what was funny about this also was that there were two angles of this incident. One, which I think most of us saw first, was the one from Sanchez's side, more or less. But the other perspective, like from Jesse Love's side, in the background, and I don't like Sam Mayer, but I got to give him props here. Sam Mayer was in the background, and the camera caught him like mean mugging and like flexing at the camera while these dickheads were fighting with each other. So that was very funny. I have to give him credit for that. That was great. So
nice.
That's great.
But yeah, that's.
Yeah,
I think that's.
I'm rarely on Team Jesse Love, but definitely part of the Love Squad this week.
Yeah, I did appreciate Jesse calling out to Nick's face that there's a reason why Nick wrecks every other race. So.
Yeah, that was good.
That's
correct.
That was
good. But yeah, I mean that pretty much wraps up the Xfinity race, I would say. Moving on to Sunday rather. So let's see here. I know everybody was beaming over both Kyle Larson's Zach Brown ban scheme, which yeah, I mean it's fine. I don't have major thoughts about it. Tyler Reddick had some pink flame Jordan car, I think it was. I can't remember who sponsored it, but it was
Jeff
cool
Gordon
looking.
ass flames on it. That was cool. Yeah. I gotta say this about the Larson one. Has this run before, or is this the first time?
No, I think it ran
this
before.
Is the first time.
It is the first.
Sure?
Yes.
Because when I was at
Loudon, they're
Loudon,
promoting their show at the Sphere in Vegas.
But did he have another Zach Brown scheme at one point? Like just a different one? I thought he had. I thought this was like the second time that band has been on the car. But
I don't know. But the thing is, like at Loudon, my brother-in-law texted me to go up to Hendrick and see if they had a die-cast of that car. And I was like, sure. I don't remember that at all ever happening. But sure enough, they had them at the Hendrick or the Kyle Larson hauler. So I got one. He ended up finding it on his own, so now I have that die-cast, which is fine, I guess. But yeah, I was surprised to see that debut at Vegas because I didn't know they made die-casts for cars that hadn't run yet. And I was very surprised that this was the weekend it showed up. But yeah, anytime you put black and gold on a race car, I don't care who it is, I'm going to be a fan of it.
yeah.
Wasn't there another one that was really pretty too? I can't remember.
Cody Ware.
That's right. Yeah.
Listen, you guys keep looking for review. I have not gotten the steak nuggets yet. Maybe I'll get them.
You had a week. What were you eating for a week? Or you couldn't go
Other
to
stuff that
Arby's.
wasn't fucking fast food steak. I will try to get him this weekend and review him.
I
for you
looked up
guys.
the amount of Arby's in the Cleveland area, and you have.
I told you there's one a mile from my house. I just never go there.
Yeah.
Like it's right up the street.
MapQuest directions.
Yeah,
I know where they are. There's multiple Arby's. I know where a lot of them are. It's not a thing. I don't know.
Whatever excuse you have is just evaporated based on the evidence that True Love and I have presented. So
Your lack of commitment to this podcast is really
unbelievable.
Fuck off.
disappointing.
Listen, I will get them. I'll get them this weekend just to shut you guys up.
Okay, we'll take a video of you eating them.
Yeah.
I
Yo, what up, fam? It's Brian.
anyways.
Whole new avenue of content coming soon from Meet Me at
There
Applebee's.
was a cup race.
Yeah, there was a race. It wasn't the best Vegas race ever, but it was decent. I would say more just there were a couple storylines coming out of it that were interesting.
Bad day to have anything to do with Aaron Blaney, that's for sure.
Yeah, Ryan Blaney got a flat and took himself out pretty early in the race. I want to say it was in stage one. So he is now the dead last in the
32
playoffs.
points out, yeah.
Pretty much has to win one of the two next races. His teammate Joey Logano, he finished sixth, but he's 24 points below the cut line, so didn't really have the day he needed, which nobody's upset about that.
Yeah, they didn't really have a ton of speed either. That was a Paul Wolf special right there to get him up into the top 10.
Yeah.
I'm taking 2 tires.
Yeah.
The big incident is
Boy.
William Byron plowing into the back of Ty Dillon, who was pitting from the middle of the turn and didn't indicate to anyone that he was pitting, didn't wave out the window like most drivers do, and apparently there was no spotter communication either. I'm not a Byron fan by any means, but this was clearly all on the 10 car, and the spotter lost his job over this, even though I don't know if it was necessarily all his fault, but yeah, that was for a bummer for Byron fans. I got a couple texts about that from people, and he's not out of it by any means. He's only 15 points below the cut line, so he could still point his way in if he has 2 decent weeks the next few weeks. Plus with Talladega, I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
But definitely a bummer for him, and he swore on TV, which was funny.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
Ty's interview was weird. He seemed so unfazed and unapologetic, and was acting like, well, honestly, I'm glad I'm out of the race because our car sucked. So
Boy, did it. That was a bad day for Ty
I think
Dillon.
it was the slowest car on track all day, from what I heard. So yeah, that was just awful. And then Chris Rice saying, it was not our fault at all on some podcast today. Pretty much fuck call,
It was on
other than
Stack and Pennies,
AJ
wasn't it?
Allmendinger. I'm never gonna watch Stack and
We'll
Pennies,
never
but it was
know.
on some podcast.
We'll never know.
the worst part about them firing Ty's spotter is that they made him drive the bus all the way to Talladega first and
Yep.
get it parked before they called him out to fire him, and then made him take an Uber to the airport and go home.
Yeah, a lot of NASCAR backmarker bullshit firings going on, but we'll get to that in the septic tank in a few minutes. Yeah, I gotta feel bad for that guy. Again, I don't. Definitely kind of a scapegoat situation from being 1,000 feet away. I don't really see how. Obviously, he has a hand in this, but I really don't see how this completely falls on the spotter when the driver has a hand in numerous ways. I don't know if you guys I actually listened to the Dale Jr. download in my 6 hours of driving around for work today. Not something I typically do because I find the producer to be annoying as shit, but Dale was talking about how he never actually waved, but he would always do something that was pretty obvious, like dive down to the bottom of the racetrack on the backstretch to let people know that he
not fucking. He slowed down in the middle of the turn. Like, he almost turned up before Byron hit him. It was fucking insane.
We're used to seeing people signal out the window, and I think most fans kind of have that program, but there are other ways to make this happen that the driver has in their toolbox, and apparently not a single goddamn one of those happened.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, that wasn't even almost, that was the only pit road entrance accident we had, but there was almost another one with McDowell and Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention. That one looked even more egregious on McDowell's part, but luckily SVG narrowly missed that one.
Yeah, he was just pitting from the dirt track. He was so far out.
He was so far out.
He got wrapped up in the one big wreck that I guess I didn't. I guess I missed this in the broadcast, but Christopher Bell wrecked Ty Gibbs, or maybe Ty Gibbs made a stupid move and Bell just caused him to spin. But either way, another Nepo baby that's not going to lose his job no matter how bad he does. So who the fuck cares?
Ty was kind of driving like an asshole, if I remember correctly. I mean, he was running top 10 or towards the top 10 most of the day, and towards the end of the race before that wreck, he was definitely pulling some Talladega shit. And that was the big wreck at the end, right? That Bell wrecked him. Yeah. I think that was Ty coming across his nose. I don't think Bell did it on purpose, but yeah, he was asking for it. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It sucks because SVG was running in the top 10 all day, so.
Yeah, he was doing good. Also, running up front most of the day. I mean, it was Larson, Byron, Bell, Briscoe. And Denny. I mean, a lot of the contenders obviously were all up there, and
yeah,
I
it's
feel
like the top 4 in points were the top 4 on the track most of the day.
Yeah. After that big wreck, most people took 2 tires. Denny Hamlin took 4, and that allowed him to come from 6th to 1st in the last 14 laps and finally get his 60th win.
Yeah.
And this one was definitely a bit different because I've never seen Denny Hamlin cry or be really emotional at all, aside from being his shit-stirring self.
Yeah, I've never seen him have that many fans either. Wow, all of a sudden there's a bunch of Denny Hamlin fans that showed up.
Well, I think a lot of people could tell. I mean, just him getting out of the car, and there's that photo of him grabbing the flag where he just looks like the most disheveled I've ever seen him.
Yeah, he did look like he just worked a couple doubles at the Cracker Barrel. But yeah, I'm in the camp of being excited for this. Again, I'm not a Denny Hamlin fan by any stretch, but that's a big milestone.
Yeah.
And I think people kind of, at least I forget anyway, how good Denny Hamlin is and how much he's won. He's just always kind of there.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me of like how Jeff Burton in the Cup Series is, but maybe a little bit more successful. But still, Jeff Burton had almost 30 wins.
Yeah,
but you forget. He's got double.
He's got almost triple. I think Jeff's only got 2021. So, and not to mention Denny's still winning in his mid-40s, which very few people have done.
Exactly. So, yeah, it is remarkable. I mean, Mark Martin's the closer comparison if you really have to make a Winston Cup comparison, I guess. But
and I guess Harry Gant, but Harry Gant only had a couple good years, and then before he retired. So yeah. I mean, it's one of those things that no matter how you feel about Denny, I think you have to congratulate him on some level.
So I got to ask you, Brian. Last week you were saying that the choke had arrived. He already had an Arby's steak nugget stuck in his esophagus. Do we think he's coughed it up, or is that thing?
Well, no, that was going to be something I said. I do feel like maybe I was a little bit early, but I mean he had 2 rough weeks. I mean, granted, Charlotte wasn't really his fault, but the Kansas thing wasn't good, and I feel like this gives him his best shot now because I don't know if he's ever won the opening round of 8 race, so this gives him the most time to prepare. 5 of the last 9 champions were the guys who won this race, or at least the first race of the round of 8. So it gives him a much longer runway to everybody else. And
how appropriate?
I mean, I hope it happens
for him to get his first and probably only championship. The last year that the system he hates so much is in existence. I'd love that so much. Because the playoffs are changing no matter what. So
yeah, for sure.
The thing he's been adamantly against and disappointed with will end up. It could pay him some dividends here. But he's been on to Phoenix before and not won. So.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it to me, it depends on how these next 2 weeks go for Penske, and I think it'd be very interesting if it was 3 fucking Gibbs cars versus Larson. Like that would really make the odds in his favor. I feel like so.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of seems like if you're looking at the pure statistics, that's the way it's trending right now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Talladega is the big wild card, and we'll see who comes out of that. On top, but
not to get too into it, but I guess looking at that group, I mean, Christopher Bell and Briscoe are probably the favorites. I mean, Briscoe's won at Phoenix before in a Cup car, and Christopher Bell should have been the champion instead of Joey Logano, if not for whatever the fuck happened to it. It was a brake rotor.
Yeah.
So I think.
Well, was that the Blaney year? I think that was the Blaney year. Yeah,
it was Blaney. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get them all mixed up. All the Fords look the same to me.
That's fair.
But yeah, it's going to be exciting. Even if we don't like the format, it's definitely going to be entertaining. There's no question about that.
Yeah. Final note, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch earned the second round of chips and queso, the 7th place finish.
Yeah. What an investment by Cheddars. They hadn't had to pay out shit this year.
Yeah, on the same day that he gets unseated as the all-time winningest Toyota driver.
Yep.
He at least got those free chips and queso.
Is that so? That's right. I didn't realize that. Well, hopefully he took advantage of his own promotion.
I hope so. He's kids are starving.
Yeah, speaking of RCR, not to jump ahead in the notes here, but some news broke today that Colleague and RCR are splitting up, and Colleague is going to be going it alone here.
Which, I think that only alludes to the Dodge deal. I have to imagine that whenever they do a Cup car in the next couple of years, that Colleague will be there with them. So it makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, not much news there, but after when you're celebrating a top 10 and free chips and queso as the pinnacle of your season, then maybe Colleague is feeling pretty good about this little breakup here.
But yeah, moving on to other notes. Rob, you can handle the Bathurst one because I didn't really watch a whole lot of that.
Yeah, the Bathurst 1000 was this weekend. Of course, that's the crown jewel of the Australian Supercars series. The beautiful Mount Panorama circuit. True Love, I know your boyfriend was out there a couple weeks ago doing something.
Yeah, he just got back.
Was he there for the 1000?
No, they had to leave to go shoot some other stuff.
Oh, that's too
before
bad.
The race started. So.
God damn, what a race that is. Bathurst is, again, I said it last week and I'll say it again this week. Mount Panorama is probably the greatest racing circuit on the planet. It's absolutely breathtaking. The elevation changes, the sheer speed, the amount of aggression you see out of these guys, and in the sports car races they have there as well. It's unbelievable, and this was definitely an all-timer. Rain moving in and out, of course, throughout the entire weekend, causing some chaos. My favorite moment of the whole race was when Chaz Mostert wrecked out very early on. He got out of the car, of course, despondent, but now he has to sit around for the next 8 hours because this thing takes fucking forever. And I think on the radio, one of the first things he said was, "How long till I can have a beer?" And then within 3 minutes, a fan was waving him over across the fence, and he got a beer from the beer stand, and he was sitting there drinking with fans, drowning his sorrows. So, love that shit. But you watched some of this, didn't you, True Love?
I put the highlights on, which were an hour long, and it was just wreck after wreck after wreck after wreck after the rain started. So it was a lot to try to process.
Yeah, but
it seemed very chaotic. But man, those cars look so fucking fast on that.
Yeah, they really haul the mail.
That course, and from Andy doing a track walk there, he was saying that some parts of that track are so steep, like just walking downhill, like was almost, not possible to do without your legs wanting to get out from under you and take off rolling.
Yeah, when they say Mount Panorama, the mount part is not figurative. It's very fucking real. And anytime we get to bring up the Darrell Waltrip video where I think, who was it? Was it Jamie Whincup took him for a ride around the racetrack? I can't remember, but he got a ride along in a supercar around Bathurst, and just watching him do his best Talladega Nights is one of the funniest things you'll ever see. Oh, the Dipper! It's the Dipper! But anyway, once the rain finally settled in, just absolute bare-knuckle fight for about the last 70, 80 laps. Just full on, exactly what you want to see. That's the kind of thing. It was, if you're going to make a NASCAR comparison, it was essentially Marcus Ambrose and Brad Keselowski at Watkins Glen for a good hour and a half with the rain moving in. And by the time they got to the end of the race, the top of the mountain was almost completely fogged over. And some of those camera shots looking down into the valley were unreal. Like, it was just pea soup at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And of course, Skyline and all that going down on the Conrad Strait is just some of the most technical sections of racetrack. I think I bitched about this on the show before. I hate runoff areas more than anything because I think there should be punishment for going over track limits that's not handed down by the tower. So grass or whatever, but this is just full-on walls. There is no room for error up there on top of the mountain. And it creates carnage, but it also rewards the brave. Which, let's see, who picked up the win here? It was Matthew Payne and Garth Tander. They crossed the line second, though, because James Golding had a 5-second penalty for getting into the back of somebody. I forget who it was. I think it was the Dick Johnson car, Erebus. I can't remember. The current state of supercars is a little foreign to me. I stopped following a while ago. and I'm starting to get back into it now. But yeah, shout out to old man Garth Tander and Matthew Payne picking up the win there. And how bummer must it be after 1,000 kilometers of hard knuckle, just balls to the wall, physical racing, to come across the line first and not be the winner.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty brutal.
I'm going to take a little sip for James Golding, even though what he did was not kosher, at least not in supercars anyway. Yeah, I can't recommend going out and checking out the highlights. There actually is a last 15 laps video that the Supercars series put up on YouTube yesterday, I think. So if you don't have time for the full hour highlights, even though I do recommend watching that, at least give the last 15 minutes a spin, because this race it's one of the greatest of the year. I mean, for me, it's up. The Indy 500 is always going to be king to me, but Bathurst 1000 is right up there with Daytona, right up there with Sebring. It's one of the great races on this planet, and I think you need to try and watch it wherever the fuck they show it. I have no idea. I think it's on NASCAR TV now, on Tubi.
Oh, well, I couldn't figure it out.
maybe
Everything
it's
that I
Motor
Googled
Trend?
was like, you need a Australian subscription. I was like, well, I don't have that.
I climbed into bed and flipped the TV on, and Bathurst was just on the television. And usually I have the upstairs TV just set to the NASCAR channel. So maybe it was on there. Maybe it was Motor Trend. I don't know. You can watch it somewhere, and I highly recommend it. And especially since we got a couple NASCAR guys going over to race the Clipsal 500 once the NASCAR season wraps up. Connor Zilish is going to be over there, and of course Austin Cendric driving for Tickford, I believe. So, and those aren't shared cars like they are for Bathurst. These guys are getting their own seat and their own shot to show what they got against the Aussies here. So that'll be a good one.
There was a moment as a NASCAR fan that I thought was witchcraft for a second, because a car went off-road and drove through like 3 signs, and there was no debris, and I was so confused for a second.
Oh, yeah, the overlay?
The signs were digital. I was like, what the fuck kind of newfangled shit is this?
Yeah, those are always disorienting. I love when the cars drive over them and the car actually changes color because the overlay projects onto the car. Yeah, weird shit. But yeah, Bathurst 1000, badass. Go give it a watch. Cheers to Garth Tander and Matthew Payne.
The energy of those announcers that call that race too are 10 out of 10.
Yeah, if you like Lee Diffie, you'll like these guys. I mean, that's where Lee came from, was covering supercars. So you're used to the energy, and boy, these guys have it in spades down there.
Let's see, back to NASCAR. This is going to be a lot of stuff regarding next year, but so we already got news that the Cup cars are going to 750 horsepower for next season. Kyle Larson did a test and didn't even know until afterwards that he drove a car with 750 horsepower. So he told the media and everybody, like, listen, don't make this as big of a deal as everybody is doing now, because it's probably not going to actually affect stuff too much. But
yeah, there's not very many situations. Again, it's been discussed a lot about how it's going to take way more horsepower than it's an 80 horsepower jump. 90, 80, something like that. It's going to take a couple hundred to have a noticeable effect with how wide the tires are and the arrows. So, yeah. Hey, it's a step in the right direction, though.
Yep. Mike Ford, who is, what the hell is his job again? Race director or something?
Lip smacking.
Bitching on some podcast. Yeah, lots of lip smacking for sure.
Lip smacking. He was on Dale Jr.'s podcast last week and kind of alluded to a 32-4 playoff format for next year. Although I kind of think it's maybe a red herring, because as soon as he said that, he's like, oh, there's your clip. So I kind of feel like he knew what he was doing.
Tommy
there.
Baldwin said that, and he kind of...
It was.
And he went with it. He was talking about it like it was real. And he mentioned something about... They didn't make it very clear exactly what the deal was, but the 32-4 thing, that was from Tommy Baldwin's mouth, which I don't...
Oh, he was on Door Bumper Clear, never mind. But still.
I say I don't fully understand that, though we have a similar system in the Lucas Oil late models. So, and that kind of works, but also the drama to make it into that final whatever it is pretty subdued, especially with when you got Ricky Thornton Jr. and Devin Moran and Jonathan Davenport as your top 3 guys, and then everybody else. So maybe it's just less of a story there because the cars race differently, but I don't know. I'm curious to see. I'm honestly really fucking tired of speculating on what it's going to be and just want to wait for this announcement.
We're not going to know till next year, so probably not till January. So it is what it is.
Yeah, okay. But it does sound like it could be a 36 race thing or something close to it. So
it's
see.
it's definitely not going to be what it is now. So I think it'll be an improvement. Just to what level, I guess we'll see.
24 drivers, 6 rounds. Playoffs started. All-star race.
God, I hope not. As far as silly season stuff goes, a bunch of stuff came out. Let's see here. Harrison Burton, he's out at AM Racing, which I think we already talked about that maybe, but he's rumored to go to Sam Hunt Racing, which I'll be completely honest, I thought that's who he was driving for to begin with. So, I guess
well, that makes 2 of us, Brian. I didn't know who he drove for till he got fired.
Our old pal Matty D, who really the only thing he's done noteworthy this year is catch his feet on fire. He is out of the last 3 races for Viking Racing, which again, that's another team I watch every week. Viking Racing. Couldn't fucking tell you who the hell they are.
The second time that Matt DiBenedetto has been fired before Talladega.
Yep. Connor Mozak is taking his spot, which I have to imagine is an improvement, but
has Maddie posted any sad "woe is me" videos in response to this news yet?
Maybe he finally learned his lesson because I don't remember. I feel like somebody would have sent that to me.
Lifting at the Planet Fitness or wherever he goes. Yeah, I don't know. But this is again very funny. It's the second time that this has happened to this guy at the exact same time. But really, I think this is more of somebody's dad wrote a big check kind of deal. And Connor Mozak is not going to finish any worse than DiBenedetto did, so might as well take the money and run, I guess, if you're Viking Racing.
Right before...
fuck that is.
I guess right before this got announced, Matty D was posting videos online asking people for, I think it was $40 donations or something to get their name on the car, so...
yeah. A little context there. So maybe it is a big check, daddy's wallet kind of thing.
Yeah. Our old pal Butterbean. So he was announced to drive the 11 car for Colleague for the last 3 races, and he's going to be in their trucks next year, so that's good for him. And also, I couldn't tell you where I saw this or what this photo came from. Might have been a press release or something, but somebody posted a photo of him, and he just looks like the most like a horse I've ever seen a human look like to me. He looks like he's like BoJack Horseman to me.
Even more so than Brad Keselowski?
Yes, more than Brad Keselowski. His eyes are beadier, and just everything, he just looks like a horse to me. And I say that as someone who likes him, so whatever.
Big horse guy, yeah.
Yeah, big horse guy over here.
To the podcast post.
Yeah. Eric Almirola is going to be finishing out the year in the JGR 19 car because that car is in the running for the owner's points. So I know, Rob, let out your anger here because I know you are mad about this.
Well, I get it from a performance standpoint. Justin has not had a good year in that car. A lot of it isn't his fault, but a lot of it is. They really haven't found very much speed, and certainly not any impressive runs like you got out of Ryan Preece when he did a little stage with those guys a few years ago. So,
or even Ryan Truex. Where the fuck was he this
Truex,
year?
Yeah.
He won races with them, and he didn't get any starts.
Yeah, granted, Ryan Preece had a little more experience in Xfinity cars, blah, blah, blah. Not to mention Justin was is running for a modified title this year against Austin Beers. So he's got a weird split schedule going on, and not a ton of experience outside of modified. So, but still, it just sucks to see. I know that the folks who put together the sponsorship package for him, I don't know how this works when you fire a driver. Do you get your money back? Is Eric Almirola going to be out there running the same colors? I don't know. But that sucks to fundraise and get somebody in up here in the Northeast, and I guess probably anywhere you go. But I know for a fact up here in the Northeast, the folks who work with these drivers to get modified folks into Xfinity cars and Cup cars and trucks, it's pretty close to the vest, and I hate to see that Justin, as good of a race car driver as he is, even if the results haven't shown it, is going to have somebody else driving the car that he paid for or somebody paid for. So that sucks to see. But hey, that's business, I guess. And I don't know, if I can't say if I was Joe Gibbs that I wouldn't be putting the guy who's won 3 races for me after running like 6 of them, or however many fucking Eric has run. Eric with an A. That's already a strike against him. But I can't say I wouldn't make the same decision, especially since they're going for the Owners' Championship now, and Eric can win. Did he win Phoenix earlier this year too? Was that his first win?
I think so.
So
Yeah, to block all his wins from.
Yeah, we'll have to look that one up, because that part of my brain is definitely boarded up and sealed away. But yeah, again, racing decision, very good. Business decision, I hate to see it. Big Justin Bonsignore fan, at least in an Xfinity car, and but I will temper my anger for now. But Eric better fucking win that race if we're gonna do this. God damn it.
And then some other news that I think we all knew was coming. Justin Haley is out of Spire next year. All signs point to Daniel Suarez in this car, even though there's been a couple other people rumored for this role. But
yeah, I put money on Suarez if there's a line to bet on.
I guess it makes sense because, yeah, I mean, he doesn't have a ride. They're not going to buy out Kyle Busch's contract, and I forget who else was in the running. Harrison, maybe, but I don't see him going back up to Cup yet. So it is what it is.
Where Justin might be going?
No, that hasn't been mentioned yet. So who knows? And then I had
48
some t-shirt.
Dodge trucks.
I had some t-shirt news. So 2 things. One, Antisocial Social Club did a collab drop with NASCAR and released a bunch of $55 t-shirts, one of which just looks like a bunch of shitty clip art on an orange t-shirt. And our old buddy Harris Liu, who used to work for NASCAR and do graphic design for them, told me that a lot of the graphics on this one particular orange shirt that I posted about was stuff that he created when he worked there 10 years ago that Antisocial just used, and that brand hasn't been hot this decade, so that's a great move by all involved.
When that got announced, I literally had to Google it. I was like, what is this? What is this whippersnapper?
Yeah,
I only know it. Hasn't been popular in a while.
I only know it from all the rich Chinese college students in Boston when I was living there. They all were big on the Antisocial Club stuff. So maybe they'll be NASCAR fans now. Who knows?
Yep. My other T-shirt news was famed actress Diane Keaton passed away this past weekend, and someone decided to create an AI Diane Keaton vintage NASCAR T-shirt and put it on eBay. Why? I don't know, but it's like it's like her
body
face
was even cold. Like
yeah, it was like the same day. And yeah, it's like mock up with like a what looks to be Jeff Gordon's car there, and yeah, I won't be buying that. Sorry, folks.
I might.
No T-shirt reviews there.
Also, while we're talking about celebrity deaths, rest in peace to D'Angelo, R&B Titan. You guys like D'Angelo?
I mean, he was fine. I knew a couple of his songs.
Voodoo is quite the incredible record from a musicianship standpoint. I don't listen to it often, but it's pretty fucking unreal. So if you haven't listened to D'Angelo in a while, maybe go back and give Voodoo a spin. Anyway, back to NASCAR here.
Well, that wraps up the news and notes, and now we're on Darf of the Week.
Yeah, onto the dumb shit. Got a couple submissions this week. The big winner, of course, is coming from Winchester. Of course, the big Winchester 400 was this weekend. Ty Majeski made that show really garbage. I'm glad I didn't spend the $30 or $40 to watch the pay-per-view like I almost did, because I think he almost lapped the field. So shout out to Ty Majeski doing his job there in a late model. But our Darf of the Week does come from Winchester, because one of the only eventful moments of the race was some dumbass threw a beer can out in the racetrack and brought the yellow out. And this is a cautionary tale, folks. Oftentimes the DARF of the week is just somebody who can't spell. Sometimes it's a physical act, though, and we like to use these as teachable moments on the show. And just to say, don't throw shit on the racetrack until the race is over. I love the Jeff Gordon beer shower at Talladega from all those years ago, but the race was done at that point. Don't interfere with the shit on track. Don't be part of the show. Don't be a dumbass. Don't climb the fence, and don't throw your beer cans over it. So that is officially my DARF of the week. I feel like that guy probably already got punished for doing that if they found him. But my honorable mention here, which I think is probably going to get a little bit more traction, and we're about to get into this news, and I guess we can talk about it since we're officially entering the septic tank anyway. We're already talking about short track racing, so welcome. Come on in. Excuse me. Of course, the Smart Tour was at Tri-County over the weekend. Carson Lofton picking up a controversial win over Burt Myers. I have plenty of feelings on that, but more in a second. Short Track Scene posted an interview with Burt after the race, who was not pleased after he tried to fight Carson and his whole family in Victory Lane. And the post says, Smart Modified Tri-County second place finisher Burt Myers. And it's just a shot of his face about to act like he's never wrecked anybody before on video.
Cussing at a child.
And there's a lot of comments in there, you know, people who like Burt Myers, you know, Bowman Gray people, other race fans, blah, blah, blah. A true buffet of a marketplace of ideas.
A little Facebook buffet.
But the standout here came from somebody named Corey Wallace, and I'm just going to read this dry. That's probably the worst way I could have described this comment. It says, Bud, just give it up already. Go get in your coming chair. C-O-M-I-N-G. Coming chair.
Coming chair.
And I would like to open this up to the class. What is that? what was this supposed to be? Like, what is... I have an idea, but yeah, I don't know what the autocorrect was, if that actually means something, if the coming chair is real in some circles.
Maybe he meant rocking chair, and autocorrect somehow he fucked up rocking bad enough to make it say coming, but
coming chair.
I don't know.
Yeah. But no punishment for this guy because it brought us so much joy. Sometimes crimes do have benefit, and this one certainly did. But yeah, Smart Tour race. I didn't actually get to watch a whole lot of this, but Carson Lofton did piss some people off. I did watch some of the highlights here, and I can kind of understand where Burt Myers is coming from. I can definitely understand where Joey Coulter was coming from. He was running people pretty hard and high up into the marbles and pretty close to the fence when it might not have been necessary, kind of nerfing people out of the way, which seems to be the southern way of racing modifieds to begin with. But the thing that really grinds my gears about all of this, especially with Burt Myers going down there and trying to act hard and fight a teenager, which whatever, I've talked about this before, if you're old enough to drive a race car, you should be old enough to fight. And also, I'll put my personal fandom of Carson Lofton aside. I think him and his family are great people, but it's real rich for Burt Myers to be coming out on TV and talking about racing people dirty when he's made his career off of doing way worse shit at Bowman Gray. Yeah. So that just made me itch, and these guys got to hear all sorts of opinions about how Northeast modified racing is better than Southern modified racing on Saturday night, but I'll spare the class a lot of those opinions. But there is a reason why Burt Myers typically finished in the 20s when he would come up to Thompson, so we'll leave it at that. Yeah. But yeah, Carson Lofton picking up a big win. Also, getting a ride at North Wilkesboro in the Smart Tour race with Jamie Tomeno, which is pretty cool. So looking forward to watching that. You can catch all that action on Flow Racing this weekend at the big finale at North Wilkesboro, but more on that in a second. Sorry, True Love, you were about to say something?
I was just going to say that I saw the clip of him, like, pitching a fit over Carson first, and like that whole video is just like
so cringy,
so ridiculous because it was so many adults like having an absolute come apart. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta go find this clip now because Carson must have did something insane and so egregious and like almost killed 7 people or something. And I went and watched the end of the race. And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the reaction didn't quite fit what I saw on TV.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. And again, it's real rich coming from Burt Myers of all people, which again, I have a lot of respect for. I do like Bowman Gray if I'm having to pick between Burt Myers and anyone else. Burt is my guy, but I got a really great text from a friend of the program, Kyle Armstrong, saying that I bet Junior Miller would be sitting in a chair laughing at all this right now. So,
What kind of chair?
not that chair. God, I hope it's not that chair. But speaking of modified racing, I was watching the real shit up here in New England. And as I said last week, I was very much looking forward to going to the World Series at Thompson. This is my umpteenth year of going. It's a great event. 3 days of just pretty much anything you'd want to see. Definitely a who's who and what's what of short track racing here in New England. Basically any division imaginable is going to be on track there. I did not go on Friday night. Typically I will, but it was just a little too cold, and I knew I was going to be outside for 12 hours because the forecast for Sunday was looking pretty nasty. So the American Canadian Tour made the right choice to combine both the Saturday and Sunday programs into one show. And I know all you southern listeners down there, that means you probably think I was at Thompson till about 8 a.m. the following morning. But nope, they had it all wrapped up by about midnight. So once again, big shout out to the American Canadian Tour guys for running a tight ship. But anyway, I digress. Friday night, I decided not to go. It was like 35 degrees, and John McKennedy won the open mod feature, so good for him. It was kicking off a very good weekend for John. Which leads us to Saturday, the 12 hours of Thompson. My mother and father-in-law were coming to the race. Of course, my father-in-law came to the World Finals with us last fall, and he had a good time. And
Yeah, he's great.
he was curious to see what New England racing was like. You know, it's definitely, dirt racing is a different experience altogether, especially with the late model crowd and all that. Kind of a different vibe, and Thompson is about half an hour from all of us, so he was curious to see what the local flavor was like. And my mother-in-law I don't think she's ever stepped within a mile of a racetrack in her life, other than just maybe driving past it in Charlotte going to Target or wherever the fuck they go when they're there. So, but she was real keen on it. She wanted to go, wanted to check it out. And so they did. And before I got to the racetrack, I made sure and stopped in at my favorite illegal Zen store. I was very excited about that. Picked up some black cherries for the day. And got to Thompson at about 11 a.m. Practice had already been on track for a few hours. Got my pit pass, got settled in, and they showed up not long after that. It was a perfect day to be outside. Not sunny, which is probably the only thing that could have made it better. But an absolutely beautiful temperature all day. That perfect New England fall deal, or if you want to wear a hoodie, you can. If you want to wear a T-shirt, you can. You're not going to freeze your ass off. Even when the sun did go down, it was pretty bearable. So a good deal. We lined up all of our lawn chairs in turn 4, and the whole time I was like, man, I wonder what they're going to think of this. Because some of these races at Thompson, it being such a fast track, they get pretty strung out. And of course, they run the super modifieds first. And those races at Thompson, they're exciting because the cars are so badass, but oftentimes it's not much to look at. And of course, John McKennedy absolutely spanked everybody in that race. And I'm looking over at him, I'm looking at the racetrack, I'm like, man, I wonder if they're going to leave soon, because nothing happened there. It's pretty bad. And there was stuff going on, but I've been going to Thompson and to short tracks for, at least a couple decades now, so I know what I'm looking at, and I know how disorienting those races can be if you don't know what you're looking at. But they had a lot of questions, and I was happy to answer them, and we were kind of talking about it, and I kind of told them the history of the tracks, the oldest oval in New England, maybe aside from Seekonk, the Indianapolis of the East. It's been there a long time. It's been on the verge of closing for a long time. This is the type of racing that made New England famous and is special to here and unique to here, blah, blah, blah. And I think she enjoyed the history lesson, which if my wife goes with me, she hates the history lesson. So it was nice for me to just completely dump on somebody and have them be receptive. Racing was pretty good in general, to be honest with you. Keith Rocco put on a big show with Todd Owen and the Sunoco mods, and Keith ended up getting the win there. That was a decent finish. Leadfoot Larry Barnett wrapped up the Street Stock Championship. Couldn't tell you who won the feature because I don't give a shit, because I'm a big Leadfoot Larry fan, and I like to see that man, one of the old timers in his 50s. He might even be in his 60s now, still going out there in one of those square body cars and putting it to the kids, driving little junior late models, essentially. Love that. Again, of course, 2 different programs being pushed together into one day. So the headliner event for Saturday was the Race of Champions Series and their 150-lap feature. A lot of the same competitors as the NASCAR modified race later on in the night, which was officially the Sunday program. But in a lot of different cars. Of course, Ron Silk was out there, Matt Hirschman, John McKinney was in this race as well, even though he wasn't running in the NASCAR modified shit. Austin Beers was out there. Very confusing qualifying. I didn't realize that they were locking in the top 6 from time trials into their positions for the race, and so they brought them out there in the heats. And my mother-in-law leaned over and was like, "Who do you got for this one?" And Ron Silk was rolling out in track, and I was like, "Watch that 16. Looks like he's starting in the back, but he's going to haul his way up to the front. I guarantee you." And then the heat starts, and he just drops back and runs like half throttle. And I'm just like, I look like such a dumbass right now. And I leaned over after, and I was like, I don't know what that was about, but I bet it was some dumb qualifying shit. And sure enough, it was. The feature itself was pretty good. It was a very long one, a few different wrecks and lots of pit stops, which was a stark contrast to the NASCAR mod feature. But to no one's surprise, Matt Hirschman picked up his 48th Race of Champions win or some shit like that. That might be an exaggeration, but this particular race, first year at Thompson, but it's the 10th time that Matt has won this particular event. They call him Money Matt for a reason. So another big check going to Matt Hirschman there. But it was a decent show through and through. John McKinney coming in second in that race. So that's, if you're keeping score at home, that's 2 wins and a second place for his troubles. So he's definitely the all-around cowboy at Thompson this weekend. Around this time, it's about midday. My buddy Orion is texting me. I've been texting him videos of me eating Zens by the handful and drinking Fireball nips in the parking lot. And he's like, "Man, I want to come." And I was like, "You should come down." And he's like, "I'm going to bring my son." And I was like, "Fuck it, bring your son. I have extra chairs in the truck." So he does. And we meet up. I let him know, of course, that his son is now old enough to get a pit pass at Thompson, and I recommend doing that so you could actually go get close to the cars and really see what this was all about. Not his son's first time at the racetrack by any means. He's gone to Stafford with me before, but this is definitely the first time where he's been kind of old enough to still be a kid, but kind of start to get the gravity of what we're watching.
All right.
And so we made up with them, and that was right around the time that my family had had enough. They literally watched 6 hours of racing, and there was another 5 left. So, again, kudos
to they stuck out that long is very.
Yeah, and I told them, I was like, "Well, congratulations, you did make it to the end of the Saturday program, and now we're getting into Sunday." My mother-in-law was very proud of herself for that.
Did they eat any fun foods or buy a T-shirt or anything?
No T-shirts were purchased. I didn't ask any opinions on the troughs or the bathroom situation, though I did warn them that it was still the 1960s out there, so make your choices wisely. Yeah. I've never seen the women's room at Thompson, so I can't tell you what that's like, but I'm imagining it's somewhere between the shower curtains that you've experienced and a nicer facility. But yeah, they had a good time. So much so, in fact, that my mother-in-law is now showing interest in going to the Coke 600 next year.
Well,
and I was like, "Well, if you made it through 6 hours of this,
6 hours,
then you can handle 6 hours of Charlotte." Yeah, I think she'll do it. So that's fun. There's nothing I love more than taking people who have never seen this before. Any kind of racing, particularly short track stuff. I just love sharing that with folks and seeing their reaction. And it doesn't always go this well, but it's nice when someone can see something that they know I'm obsessed with, and I'm always playing on my phone looking at racing shit when I'm at family events because I don't want to talk about whatever the fuck they're talking about. Mm-hmm. And now they get it. So
yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, definitely some more Thompson trips in the future, and it sounds like Me and Karen are going to be drinking beers at the Coke 600 coming up here. So that'll be fun. She'll get to meet a different Rob at that event. But anyway, so they take off. Perfect timing. Orion and his son pop in, and it's time for the Sunday portion of the program. We don't stay in our chairs for a lot of the shit. There's some practice sessions and qualifying and all that. And the schedule got kind of screwed up anyway because of weather and cautions and all that. So there were a couple features that got pushed way to the end of the night. And so we kind of took it upon ourselves, since I had no idea what was going on. And of course, we have a child with us. You know, let's go walk around. Let's see the sights. Let's go to the pits and see some race cars. And we did. And not a lot of pit areas will allow 7-year-olds in there. That's not something that's very common. But it was definitely cool to take a kid in there and let him get up close to the race cars. And there was one moment we were coming out of the garage at Thompson, and they were rolling some of the NASCAR mods up for some sort of inspection or lineup or whatever. And these things, we walk out the front door and they're coming straight at us, and they stop about 3 feet away. And it was cinematic. You couldn't have planned that better. And I looked down at the kid, and he just had this look on his face like, whoa. It's like, yeah, that was pretty badass, huh? You got to peek in the race cars and all that. Didn't meet any drivers or anything like that, but definitely got a nice close look at it. You get to experience how sticky the ground is in an asphalt garage area. So yeah, it was pretty good. And then we went out to the parking lot for a little while. I watched them wrestle. 7-year-olds have a lot of energy they got to get out. Yeah. And so at one point we're standing out there behind my Jeep, and I'm just drinking a beer, and my buddy and his son are literally rolling around in the grass, just wrestling each other. And I'm talking to some random guy from Maine who parked next to us about how we don't like John McKennedy. And at one point, Orion pops up, and he's kind of covered in grass. He's like, sorry, man, kids. And he's like, oh, I know, I got him. I'm too old for that now, though. And they went back to fighting. And and about that time, it was almost time for the NASCAR show to start. I heard the cars rolling out on track. Turns out it was qualifying. So essentially, I don't know how this worked out, but it was getting very close to the flow racing start time. So they just sent the NASCAR guys out there to do one lap qualifying, and then straight into the feature, which I gotta be honest, I really enjoyed that. It was nice to kind of condense it. The race itself was pretty exciting if you were at the track, but if you're watching from home, I'm sure that probably wasn't all that great to watch. Ron Silk came from 11th to just about lap the field. He was 8 seconds over Austin Beers at the end. I think
if your mother-in-law had stayed for that, she would have understood what you were trying to tell her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the battles throughout the field were excellent. There was a big scrap between Justin Bonsignore, Austin Beers. Matt Swanson was out there. I take that back. Matt Swanson was in second place. He got around Austin at the end. Austin Beers got third, but still 8-second differential between the leader and second place, and then another 5 or 6 back to third. And then Ron Silk was, if there was 5 more laps, he would have caught a few more. Absolute ass whooping. 4th win of the year on the modified tour, even though he's running a part-time schedule. Kind of just twist the knife that he's not running the full schedule, because he would certainly be, in my opinion, leading the points, and we wouldn't have this battle between Justin Bonsignore and Austin Beers right now, which, by the way, 14-point advantage for the young man Austin Beers going into Martinsville in a couple weeks. That'll be an exciting show to watch between them, but my money's on Austin to get his first NASCAR Wheel and Modified title. Yeah, that's just about Thompson. After that, the boys decided it was time to go home. It was 11 o'clock, and the kid did not want to leave, which was very cute, because there was more racing, but I get it. And I felt bad for him because they left. I go back in. I'm watching the NEMA feature, just kind of biding my time, waiting for traffic to die down. I look at my phone, and I now have a text saying, hey, I left my backpack in your car. Are you still there? So this is like a full 40 minutes later. Decided to go back out and find that. But about that time, it was time to go home. Again, I think they've wrapped up around 12. But, yeah, we're looking at a full, if you include practice sessions, 15, 16 hours of on-track action. Everything got in. Perfectly smooth show. Big shout out again to the American Canadian Tour and Pass guys for taking on this place. And the evening closed out with the excellent news that Thompson will be back next year under American Canadian Tour sanctioning. I guess it's a year-by-year deal, but I think anytime I leave the World Series, there's always the thought in the back of my head that maybe this could be the last time. And it was nice to know before I left the gates that wasn't going to be the case next year, and I'm going to get another shot. Unless I go to Super Dirt Week instead, which we're about to talk about. And then that will be the last one when that happens. It'll be my fault. But yeah, great weekend at Thompson. Again, I can't recommend that place enough. No food stories, nothing really. It was a pretty box standard trip to Thompson. The only change this year, there was a Philly cheesesteak truck. It had some dumb name like Real Guys from Philly or some shit like that.
Of course.
And the cheesesteaks were $22, so I decided to skip that.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, so no thanks. I'll stick to the $7 chicken tenders. Thank you very much. But speaking of Super Dirt Week, I didn't get to watch as much of this as I wanted to. Like I said, I left Thompson around 11:30, and I thought maybe I would have a chance to watch the last few laps. But no, New York is still in the Northeast, and they run a tight ship everywhere. And that race had been done for several hours, from what I gather. And for more on that, let's go over to Brian, because he's our resident Big Block Modified expert here in Applebee's.
I wouldn't call myself an expert by any means, but I'm
more than
certainly
me.
the biggest fan. So, yeah, I watched a good portion of the heats and stuff throughout the week. I think they started Wednesday, I want to say, because they did. There was Tribute to the Troops race, the 150 race on Friday, and then the 200 on Saturday. It was the Matt Williamson show.
Yeah.
He won both races. Both races were fine. The weather held out all weekend. Our buddy Dave, who, Rob was hanging out at New Hampshire with, he was there. And we were talking throughout the race. And, even though Williamson led every lap on Saturday, there was a lot of action throughout the field. There was a funny moment where veteran Tim Fuller got out of the car right around halfway point, and he said he broke an interest rod. He wasn't racing good. His car wasn't fast enough, and he didn't feel like wasting any more money, so he got out of the car.
Fair enough.
Alex Jankowski had a good finish. He got third in Stuart Friesen's car, who they had his 84 on the car, which I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I liked that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, Larry White, who has a ridiculous mustache, he came from 40th all the way up to, I think, third or fourth, I want to say. Matt
Top
Shepard
five.
got sixth. Matt Williamson in Victory Lane. Let me pull up the. Matt Williamson in Victory Lane had a great quote. Let me pull it up here real quick. In Victory Lane, let's see here. What did he say? To the guy that told me I sit when I pee, I'll be over there drinking beer. Come over and see me. I'll piss in your hand. So he said that on live TV in Victory Lane. So that was pretty funny.
The coming chair.
But yeah, it was a good show. Definitely not as chaotic as the big Syracuse race we're going to talk about later in the show.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a good weekend, and the final Super Dirt Car race of the year is going to be in Charlotte, which it sounds like we may or may not be attending. So hopefully I'll get to check that out. But overall, it was a good weekend. Friend of the show, Stacy, told me the modifieds were the loudest cars she's heard, and she lives like a mile from the track, and she could hear them from her house. Now, granted, there are probably almost 3 times as many cars on the track for your average for the dirt race as there were for the average super modified race, so that probably played a bit of a part. But like I told her, like, all race cars are loud to me, so I don't even really notice the difference. But good weekend overall, and also too to follow up a story we talked about a few months ago, and I totally forgot about because, of course, it was Super Dirt Week, but the Bridgeport race that was supposed to pay the big prize for third place got rained out, and they postpone that till the spring. So we'll be talking about that next year at some point.
Damn. Well, speaking of Big Block Modified alumni, Tim McCready picked up a big win at Boot Hill Speedway in the World of Outlaw Late Models on Friday night. That was cool. That's his second win in a row on the tour. And
Yeah, he's up to 5, I think, this year now.
yeah, it's a good turnaround for T-Mac. He's had a rough couple of years, and it's nice to see him, especially with Boom Briggs, doing such a good job. I don't think anyone hates that. Saturday night at Boot Hill, Ryan Gustin won over Bobby Pierce. That was really cool to see. I'm a big Reaper fan, so I liked that a lot. Bobby Pierce has a 124-point lead over Nick Hoffman going into the World Finals, and that is the last event of the year. And no matter what, I'll be there for at least Saturday. I'm going to the World Finals. There's some doubt on how many days I'll be there, but I'll definitely be there for Saturday. There's no question about that. And we'll be there to watch Nick Hoffman try and figure out how to pull 124 points out of 3 nights. It's going to take Bobby Pierce sucking ass, which we have not seen very much of. Also in Dirt Late Models, big weekend at West Virginia Motor Speedway, finally inviting cars back on track. First big event there. Tyler Carpenter beat his dad, and not in the traditional West Virginia sense. It was on the racetrack. That was pretty cool to see.
The track looked good.
Huge
like attendance was
crowd.
good.
Huge
yeah,
crowd.
definitely want to try to make it down there next year at some point for sure. So
Definitely some big crowds, both there and at Gaffney over the weekend. So good, good shit.
That's super fitting that the Carpenters finished out like that at their home track.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to see. Maybe they did fight later on, but who knows? But yeah, Tyler Carpenter picking up a big check there. Another Dirt Late Model news, I guess. Of course, Mansfield Speedway opening back up. They're already having to fire people for sexual harassment, which is not a good start.
I forget the guy's name, but apparently the dude had a record of this. Like it's happened at Atomic and maybe another track. And Matt Tift wanted to give the guy a second chance, and that second chance did not pay off. But good on him for, I guess, making the public announcement about it and getting out ahead of any rumors or any bullshit. And, again, they just put down fresh clay on the track. They have not had a race yet, and they've already fired the race director. So
Matt Tift also donating $10,000 to some charity as a result.
Yeah.
So that must have been bad if you're giving out donations. Yeah, rough start. I'm sure they'll figure it out. But yeah, don't hire guys with records, I guess, is the deal. Also, speaking of losing your job, we talked about Kyle Ripper, former crew chief for Sheldon Hodenshield over at Stenhouse, Clausen, Marshall Racing in the World of Outlaws. He got fired after winning the National Open. Very unceremoniously. Ricky Stenhouse, I think we actually talked about this somewhat at length last week, but I just want to revisit it because it's so insane. Ricky Stenhouse was on, I forget who he was talking to. It doesn't matter, but he was doing an interview talking about how he fired him, and they were going to let him go after the race anyway. But then they knocked on his truck window the next morning. They'd let him celebrate, is the thing. They didn't want to ruin his big win. So they waited till Sunday morning when he was hungover, sleeping in his truck, and they banged on the window to his truck window to wake him up so Ricky could fire him on the phone before Ricky had to go finish at the back of the field in a cup race. Maybe we did talk about this last week.
Getting fired hungover. Whew.
After the biggest win of the year, a crown jewel. And again, I apologize if this is old news. I think we did talk about this, but I just want to revisit it because, imagine getting fired by a guy who was about to go run 36th somewhere else.
Speaking of Ricky, I sent it to you guys.
Yeah.
I just saw that this weekend at Talladega, he's going to have a Jack Link's paint scheme that just says non-vegan on the side of it, and move vegan on the front. So that's something.
Unless Andy Jankowiak is out there, who he was there at Thompson, by the way, and he unfortunately exited the Race of Champions race on like lap -30. That was a bummer to see because he was pretty quick. But he's the only vegan I know of out there. So, and he's not in the cup race.
Andy Lally is the other one that I know of.
Also not
He's
in the cup
very
race.
Yes, he's not in the cup race.
But yeah, R.I.P. Ripper. That sucks to get fired like that. Kind of makes me not like Ricky as much. But
finally a reason not to like him.
It took you this long.
First he tried to kill Logan Seavey, and now this, and yeah. There's a lot more to that story. I almost don't blame Ricky as much. He's just the guy who had to deliver the news. There's all sorts of weird shit about the ownership of that team that I won't go into here just because I'm not that knowledgeable about it, and I don't want to have somebody get angry at me on the internet. But yeah, bad deal all around. Sounds like he's probably escaping a bad situation. So maybe getting fired hungover isn't the worst thing for old Ripper, and I'm sure he'll land on his feet. That's for sure. What else we got going here? Oh yeah, Kaylee Bryson has a stalker. That's pretty exciting news for her.
Excited to talk about this one.
Yeah, so I don't even know where to start or how this came to her attention, but scammers exist on the internet, right, on Facebook, and there's a lot of spoofing and catfishing and all sorts of shit where people think they're talking to celebrities or other notable people, you know, apparently all the way down to the midget world and the sprint car world, because there's a guy somewhere in this world who thinks that Kaylee Bryson is his girlfriend, and that he's been sending Kaylee Bryson specifically $3,000 Apple gift cards.
Yeah.
And money to ship his truck to Oklahoma where she lives. Trulab, I'll let you speak on this for a little bit. It seems like you have some thoughts.
She had posted screenshots of their conversations because whoever he was talking to, he eventually went to Kaylee's real DMs and was like, hey, future wife, why aren't you responding to me? I've sent you all this money. And every time she tells him, like, no, dude, you're getting scammed. And he's like, no. But yeah, it sounds like he has been pouring money into whoever the scammer is. Like Rob said, over $3,000 in Apple gift cards. Also, like you said, he shipped his fifth wheel and his Jeep to Oklahoma for Kaylee to have. He had recently sent $300 to get her home from Virginia.
I'm not even sure if Kaylee Bryson's ever been to Virginia.
Yeah. And all the screenshots that he sends, the name on the account that he's sending all this to very clearly says Angela Rose, which is not Kaylee Bryson.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it would just seem real sad. She also posted like a follow-up video kind of explaining more about this, and he made it sound like he has at this point sent over $20,000 total to whoever the scammer is, and he said that he's like disabled. So
yeah,
she says she feels bad, but at the same time, it's like I can only tell you so many times that you're getting scammed.
Yeah, I've had family members fall victim to scams, and especially when you get to a certain age or a mental state, there's no convincing you once you've decided that this is what's truth, and it's a real bad deal all around. But it sucks to laugh at it, but my favorite part of this whole thing, there's one point where he was for some reason asking what her car number was. Did you catch that? And he sent an audio clip of him saying, what's your car number? What's your car number?
If you're sending someone $20,000, you would think you'd know what car they drive.
Well, I think he was trying to verify that it was her and get her to admit. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But
my favorite part of it was he was trying to prove like that this is real because he's like, I know what your address is. And then he sends her the address that whoever the scammer's been telling him. And he said, your address is Muskogee, Oklahoma on I'm a Skokie Road. It's the most bullshit.
I'm a Skokie.
I'm a Skokie Road.
I mean, it's Oklahoma. That could be real. I haven't looked this up yet.
I looked it up. It's not real.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for saving me the Google here.
But yeah, she was also saying this happens to her a ton. Like, she said that there's one random old guy that comes to the races and, like, blows her kisses every time she drives down the straightaway because he's been talking to a scammer who, you know, he thinks he's in a relationship with her. She said that she often has old dudes come up to her at racetracks thinking they're in relationships with her through Facebook. She said that recently there was a guy, an old guy, trying to get into her trailer while she was in there alone changing clothes for the race, and like just all kinds of bullshit. So
Yeah, that sucks. And I mean, everybody involved in this is a victim in one way or the other. But it really sucks for Kaylee because she has absolutely nothing to do with any of this.
yeah.
And, you know, Kaylee is a great race car driver, super talented, but certainly not on the level of some other famous women race car drivers out there. So I can't even imagine what those DMs look like. Jesus Christ. But if Kaylee Bryson's getting it, being, you know, kind of not under the radar. I hate to say that because it's not true. She's very popular and very talented, but like, you know, dirt racing is a pretty niche sport in the grand scheme. And if that's happened to her that much, I can't imagine what it's like for other women in the sport. So what a
Tony Bridgingers of the world.
yeah. Yeah. No shit. She probably has somebody else running her Instagram though, so at least she's not getting it directly.
Not her problem.
Yeah, leave Kaylee alone, please. That's my advice. If you're listening to this, Angela Rose, just leave
Leave
Kaylee.
all female women
Leave
drivers.
all women alone, please. let's broaden the horizon here.
Leave us all alone.
Yeah, real spooky deal though. I can't imagine what it's like to deal with that. Speaking of spooky and secret, one thing I noticed on Race Monitor today while I was trying to look up results for Thompson, there was some sort of NASCAR Brazil-related test at Tri-County Speedway today. It wasn't. It just said private test on the timing and scoring. I clicked on it. 6 drivers out there, all of them in the NASCAR Brazil series. So I don't know what that's about. Some kind of shootout, some kind of... I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I Googled it. I looked it up. But something happened, and there's a lot of Brazilian drivers up here from the NASCAR series down there that are doing some testing. I know they're building a Pocono-style oval down there, or they're trying to, so maybe it's some sort of test session just to get these guys more acclimated to oval racing, since I know a lot of the international series are trying to integrate this more. But just something I noticed, and you're probably not going to see anything about in the news, because it seemed like a private deal, but I saw, motherfucker. I saw.
It's interesting.
Big time weekend of racing coming up. Of course, it's big event season and championship season. The septic tank is going to dry up pretty quick after this week because we're settling some big time titles. Of course, the biggest one for me personally, Lucas Oil Late Models are wrapping things up at Eldora this weekend at the Dirt Track World Championship. Devin Moran has 15 points over RTJ right now going into this weekend. Like I said last week, no clear winner there. But that's going to be on from Thursday through Saturday on Flow Racing. Also, High Limit is finishing up their season. They just wrapped up the second to last event of the year at Lucas Oil. I think Brent Marks won, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to have to go back and watch that. And there'll be a Texas Motor Speedway over the weekend for the big finale. Friend of the program, Alex Hammett, and my Chili Bowl compatriot will be on the property drinking liquor out of a hose somewhere, I'm sure. It'll be a good show. Also, the Cars Tour and the Smart Tour wrapping up at North Wilkesboro this weekend. All of these races on Flow Racing. I can't recommend watching them if you haven't, because they're all going to be good shows. And the short track stuff in North Wilkesboro fucking kills. So definitely going to be tuning into that. No short track racing for me personally this weekend, but I'll be at Seekonk in a couple weeks. And I guess we don't have to flush this down because this week's video of the week, or at least one of them anyway, is pretty much the same shit. So take it from here, Brian.
Yeah, so we watched the Super Dirt Week Miller High Life 300, which took place on my 5th birthday, October 9th, 1988. This was a shit show, I would say. Yeah. Starting off the broadcast, we get a recap of the previous year. We see Kenny Tremont running out of gas and a bunch of guys like Brett Hearn, Doug Hoffman, Alan Johnson failing, and Jimmy Horton getting the win. This year, 1988, had some interesting stories going into the actual race itself. Pole sitter Billy Pouch, he had a bunch of issues in practice with his motor and his drivetrain. Top 30 qualifiers were all within a second of each other, which was pretty tight. Bob McCready, very funny, weird story.
Yeah.
He apparently was running a one-piece bumper, which was illegal at the time, and during qualifying, he put a piece of conduit over the bumper to make it look like it was two-piece. He got into a fight with the race director over this and threatened to go home, and the race director called his bluff, so Bob McCready went the fuck home.
Yeah, he went home.
Just went home from 18th place starting position. That was pretty funny. This race had both Lou and Dave Blaney in it. My favorite, Kenny Tremont, had a bad start of 30th, unfortunately, and that led to him getting out of the race early, which we'll get to in a bit. Broadcast itself had Jimmy Hova and Dick Berggren announcing, which is very cool. Dick Berggren, you should know him from NASCAR at the very least, but he had a very strong presence in the Northeast modified and just Northeast racing in general. He also did Stock Car Racing magazine, which is a great magazine back when I was a kid.
I mean, a lot of the famous and storied media people in NASCAR racing, they all came from this part of the world, whether it's Ken Squire from Thunder Road, Dick Berger from up here, the Roots. Like, we got good commentators up here. There's no question about that.
Yeah, for sure. Onto the race itself, Billy Pouch had a massive jump, and they just let him go regardless. The story with this race, there were active pit stops in the race, and there were a lot of different strategies. It seemed like most guys were planning on 3 pit stops. Some guys thought they were going to make it on 1, which I don't think that happened at all. And a lot of the pit stops we saw had a lot of chaos involved, which was kind of funny. This video, of course, had commercials, so we got to mention those. First commercial break, a very cool Miller High Life ad that featured all of the different race cars they sponsored in 1988. This ad ran a few times throughout the broadcast, and this was the Miller High Life 300, so it made sense. There was a great dirt apparel ad with some track babes in the 80s.
When are you going to start running ads like this? That was amazing.
It was great. There was a cool Chevy S10 ad, and then a Pepsi commercial with a couple breaking up over the phone and then reconciling in a convenience store over cans of Pepsi. We returned to the race at lap 27. Again, this was a condensed version of the race. They were talking about Brian Goey, which for those of us who were in the Northeast, and especially in my area with Albany, Saratoga, and Lebanon Valley, the Goey family, they owned a bunch of car dealerships that sponsored pretty much every form of racing. At one point, they even sponsored the Barefoot truck when it came through town. The son, Brian Goey, did race modifieds, and he was a lapped car. They was getting in the way of everybody. Kenny Brightbill and Billy Pouch were battling early on in the race. There was a wreck that did involve Dave Blaney and a handful of other cars. Let's see. During the caution, there were a bunch of pit stops. Most didn't pit, but Billy Pouch did. Doug Hoffman also pit. He had a pit stop, and there was an air hose just hanging off his car that they just let him go back out on the track, and hopefully it didn't fall off the car, but that was pretty interesting to see. The restart, there was a massive pileup in turn 1 that took out a big portion of the field, including Kenny Tremont and a handful of other big names. Dickie Larkin ended up rolling in this wreck, and after the wreck, I think his name was Doug Coyne or Andy Coyne. He hosted This Week on Dirt, which was the local dirt racing TV show. He was the pit reporter for this race. He gets Dickie Larkin's in the car, and Andy comes over and just screams, "Dickie, did you roll over?" Just screams it at him.
Just so much screaming.
Yeah, so much screaming with him. Yeah.
And then watching that guy try to crawl out of the car and just land on his head.
As someone who has gotten into and out of a modified, they are fucking difficult. Like, it is not easy to get in
the middle of the car.
But it's very funny to see these guys who are professional drivers not being able to figure it out either. Second commercial break, we get a Wall Street Journal ad for some reason. I don't know who approved that because the racing crowd is not your target market for the Wall Street Journal. There's a boxing ad, a New England Sports Network challenge ad featuring Rap Master Rob just rapping the different sports that New England Sports Network carried, and then a college lacrosse ad. We restarted lap 39 with Brett Hearn and Kenny Brightbill. There was another multi-car wreck, with Brian Stevens basically losing half of his car, and Richie Urick's car, just gas pouring out all over the track. I mean, he had a full tank of gas, and it took them a while to clean that up. Let's see. I'm sorry, I just lost my notes. Finally, we got a clean restart with Billy Pouch battling Frank Cozy for fifth. They mentioned that these cars didn't have rear view mirrors, but they did have radios, which is not something you see these days in many dirt cars. Let's see here. Billy Pouch ended up wrecking. He tried to basically get his nose in on Danny Johnson in turn 1 and bounced off both walls, and his day was done. Another round of pit stops. We see Brett Hearn drinking a can of Mountain Dew in the car, which is definitely not what I would choose to drink in the middle of a race, but you know.
One of my favorite random little clips.
He's got a Gatorade. Oh, no, that's a Mountain Dew. Just like,
Yeah,
His pit crew had like rigged up that weird contraption on the end of a stick to shove it in the window for him, and he's trying to figure out how to get the Mountain Dew out of the contraption. There's a lot going on there.
yeah, you think it's hard to
For
get
a Mountain Dew.
It's hard to get in and out of these cars. Wait till you try and get a beverage in there. It's tough business.
Danny Johnson, his rear end was screwed up from the wreck with Billy Pouch, and they zoom in on his eyes, and he's pissed off, and he throws the steering wheel and also rolls out of the car. Next commercial break. This was a very fun one for me as far as seeing the Ground Round commercial. You guys didn't grow up in the Northeast, but the Ground Round was a local chain of restaurants that they were very involved in modified racing as well, and they sponsored Kenny Tremont and some other cars. Their big thing for me growing up, they had these like cinnamon stick dippers that came with ice cream, and they were so fucking good. I loved getting those when
I got news for you, Brian.
I'm sure somewhere else has them now.
Whenever you come up to the Northeast, for any reason, they have opened a new Ground Round in Marlborough, Massachusetts, which is very close to me. Yeah, they've reopened it.
Wild.
They've got the dippers. They've got some of the other snacks, the little pretzel bites or whatever. I couldn't tell you if it stands up to the old Ground Round, but I know that restaurant, its legacy hangs very heavy in the air of New England, and we'll have to go check this place out because I've never been.
Yeah, I'll have to, 30 years later, because it's probably been at least 30 years since I've been to one, so I'll have to check that out.
I love the commercial because it had a very catchy ditty about shrimp, so I loved it.
There you go.
The $1 shrimp dinner, or save $1, excuse me.
We also get ads for Stock Car Racing magazine, and somebody selling tapes of the previous year's Syracuse races, and then the High Life ad again. Back at lap 74, we see this pit stop. Jesus Christ! So Eddie Marshall pits under green, loses a lap. Didn't get the full 2 cans of fuel, couldn't get the car started, and he was in the lead when this pit stop happened. So that was just a complete shit show. Frank Cozy also pits, and he also can't get restarted. Then the actual restart of the race, guys just start going for it, going into turn 3. Like, just no race control here. Like, fuck it, the pace car's off the track, let's go. Let's see here. And then Ken Bren wrecks coming out of turn 4, but it was just a single car wreck, thankfully. Brett Hearn, he's out of the race. Something with his drivetrain. He is drinking a Pepsi now after the race and talks about his drivetrain issues. And also in the race, but out of the race, Freddie Smith, the Southern gentleman himself. He wrecked, and so modifieds in general, this was still in the period where the cars were different. Now you look at a modified race and they're all the same. They've been all the same for years, but back in the 80s, people were still figuring out different setups and different chassis and things like that. And Freddie Smith had an interesting setup where he had torsion bars like on a sprint car coming out of the front of the car to the front end, which was, I think he was the only car in the race with that setup. So that was pretty interesting to see. Let's see here. Lost my notes again. Yeah, another commercial break. There was a ad for the Pawtucket Red Sox. There was a great ad for the Boston Bruins Pro Shop featuring all sorts of different sports merchandise and memorabilia. Jiffy Lube ad, and then a NESN Red Sox ad with some very goofy editing. Just like I don't know, it was strange to see, but it was funny. Come back at lap 112. Doug Hoffman's out in the lead. He gets gas and stays on the lead lap. They had planned to come back in for quote-unquote green tires, the next caution. We see Andy Fusco coming in and pitting from the lead and losing a lap. At this point, Jimmy Horton got into the lead and was battling with Kenny Brightbill in second place. Jimmy Horton gets in the wall around lap 172, and Brightbill gets the lead. Horton is able to run back up and get behind him. They battled pretty strongly with 2 to go, but Kenny Brightbill got the victory. One of his car owners, Eugene Mills, was flipping out. He was speechless, and Andy announces, the pit reporter goes, "My wife doesn't hug this hard." The other co-owner says, "I'm going to have an attack," which was funny. And then Kenny, in victory lane, shows almost no emotion, but also has like dirt raccoon eyes from lack of goggles, apparently. Jimmy Horton, however, also did not show much emotion, but he looked like he was going to cry. And his hat had like bends in the places that didn't make any sense. His hat was all fucked up.
All I could focus on was
And so a quick note, Matt Williamson won $73,000 this past weekend for his Super Dirt victory. Kenny Brightbill won $75,000 in 1988, which is the equivalent of $200,000 today. Plus, he got a brand new rig and trailer. So that was a huge prize for back
And he
then.
won a ring, too, that they showed at the end. Fancy.
Oh, yeah. This was a fun race. Again, a shit show. And overall, the broadcast, again, the commercials were good. Announcing was good. It was interesting. It was funny. What did you guys think?
That was great. Yeah, you don't get to see broadcasts like this with commercials included very often. But yeah, I love this. Not much to add. But yeah, I definitely recommend the folks at home take the hour to watch this because it's fucking excellent. What do you think, True Love?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one because, growing up in the South, this is not racing that I really saw, but those cars look so awesome to me because they're so unusual. And just visually, like 1988, like that period in history to me is like the best, like design-wise, style-wise, the colors are all amazing, like everything about it. So
Yeah, it's kind of
I agree.
And it had that giant inflatable Miller High Life bottle in the middle of the infield. And I think my favorite part were the pit reporters in the middle of a dirt track wearing those really nice white Miller High Life cardigan sweaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good pick.
Excellent. Glad you enjoyed it. So, moving on to our second video of the week. So, again, I talked about
right.
this. Fuck. So I talked about this before, and I don't think we can watch this for the show.
Please
First off,
don't.
because I can't find a free version of it anywhere.
I
But
can't.
so the Parum Pum Pum trailer. So this trailer itself, it starts off with this little girl just introducing every member of her family and talking about, a little bit about their personalities and stuff like that. And then the dad, of course, is the racer. And then the trailer jumps into some racing action. I believe the majority of the racing clips were filmed at Rockingham. And in just the trailer itself, there are multiple very violent flips I don't think there's ever been a car that's flipped at Rockingham, let alone
Not like
flipped in
that,
the
yeah.
manners that these cars flipped. Like, absolutely
they
fucking
all
insane.
Flipped in the exact same manner too, like 3 separate times. So.
Yeah, they wiped out the entire Rusty Wallace driving experience filming this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like the cars were old Bush cars, maybe, and it's supposed to be NASCAR, but obviously it's not actually NASCAR, so the cars kind of look legit, but not really. But in the trailer, so the dad flips and.
Dies,
After
essentially.
he flips, he's half hanging out the fucking car.
Yeah.
Like, that would never happen. Like,
His
absolutely
seatbelts
never
magically
happen.
vanished. Yeah.
Yeah. And then from there, the second part of the trailer just kind of. I feel like this movie. I mean, again, I'm not really. I don't think I've ever watched a Bollywood movie, but I know there's a lot of like singing and dancing in Bollywood movies from what little I know about them, and I feel like this movie is half musical and then
Yeah, it is.
like half racing drama, just
is,
because like the trailer is just cars flipping and then people dancing and singing.
Yeah.
And like this movie's 2.5 hours, so that's another reason why I don't want to watch it.
God, what?
So yeah, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts on this?
I think even this couple-minute long trailer was too much. Too much to sit through.
I disagree. I want to watch this fucking film with you
Well,
guys.
You can do it on your own time.
We got an off season coming up. Maybe for our Christmas episode, we can suffer through this together.
We can do another watch along where we watch this
To
and just
Rum
get so
Pum or
pissed.
whatever the fuck it's called.
I think my favorite shot in the trailer was they show a shot of the crowd and they had every single person in the crowd wearing the exact same hat.
Yeah, RV.
No variety. Exact red hat that said RV on it.
Well, when you think about it, I mean, this was filmed in like 2006, 2007, so it's not like they were like, you know, just using crowd shots from a race like pretty much every other movie that's, you know, been a racing movie has done. Like, they had to fucking hire a whole crowd of people.
Yeah.
And so they did. I'm sure they, you know, had them all wear similar outfits and stuff like that. And
I mean, this movie seems pretty high budget, and Bollywood has a fuck ton of money.
oh yeah, for
So
sure.
this is definitely a real movie in India.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've tried to watch this before, and I fell asleep pretty quickly. My only real complaint is that why does every racing movie exactly the same? Why is it somebody gets hurt and's got to come back? Like,
He gets hurt. Then he had to take a job as a taxi driver to get his mojo back. And
yeah. Why can't we have a movie about somebody with kind of a shitty personality who gets fired before Talladega twice? You know, I would watch that.
Well, the problem is, Rob, that you need a redemption arc, and Matty D has not had a redemption arc.
I didn't say Matt
capable of
Benedetto.
that.
I just
Well, we know
said
who you're talking about.
somebody like that. Yeah, why does every
Acting can
fucking
be his next gig?
yeah, why does every racing movie have to be like this? But yeah, Bollywood is wild. I don't understand it. It's but I would like to watch this movie at some point.
So, you guys give me shit sometimes for the videos I pick that torment you. And you, Rob, so between this and your request for the Ruck family, the Ruck family, where the fuck that
the
show
Rush
is.
Life.
The
Yeah.
Rush Life.
Yeah.
So so for the video of the week next week, I did try to look for the Rush Life.
It's on Facebook.
I couldn't even find it on
It's
Facebook.
only on Facebook. Yeah.
I couldn't even find it. You're going to have to send me that link.
I will,
Because
yeah.
I could not find it. And I was like, maybe it's on Fox Nation. And fuck no, I'm not
No,
subscribing to
it's
Fox
not on
Nation.
Fox Nation. It's not that good.
Okay. So for the video of the week this week, I wanted to save this to next year, but I can't because it is such a good fucking race. We're going to watch the 1986 Busch Grand National Budweiser 200 from Dover. I randomly stumbled across this the other night, and I've already watched it twice in the last week because it's that good. The announcing is awful. Dick Brooks is at one of the announcers, and he is just trash. The commercials are insane. There is a 1-2 combo that I will not spoil for you, but when you see it, you will lose your shit. It's got a bunch of big names in it. Both Bobby and Davey Allison are in it. I think DW. There's also a very surprising debut, at least for me. It was incredibly surprising, which I won't spoil either. And it's only an hour long, and it's amazing. Like it's truly amazing. If you liked the Super Dirt race we just watched, I would say it's a similar vibe, but even more ridiculous. So
perfect.
that is going to be the video of the week next week.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Had a good streak, Brian.
Yeah, well, I try.
Singing or dancing in it, so that's good.
I haven't found any good stop motion or any videos like that in a while, so I'm just
never
picking
found any
decent
good
stuff.
stop motion. That's never happened. Let's be perfectly fucking clear about that.
All right, well, so yeah, Talladega is this weekend. I was supposed to be going, but now I am not, so I'll be watching from my couch. And yeah, all
Looks
three
like it's
series
gonna rain
now.
anyway, so
Is it gonna rain?
on Sunday
well.
maybe. We'll see.
Okay, you're not going, are you?
No, it's gonna rain.
No. Okay. Yeah. Well, we got all three series running, so we'll have plenty to talk about next week as far as NASCAR is concerned. And yeah, Rob, I'm assuming you're not doing any racing stuff this weekend either, are
No,
you?
not this weekend. I've got one more pavement race out of Seekonk this year, and then of course the finals. At least one night of the World Finals coming up. But no, nothing this weekend. And in fact, I have, other than sitting on my couch and watching every championship on Earth wrap up on Flow Racing, though I do have a child's birthday party that is going to stretch into the evening that is going to test my fucking patience, because I don't know if I'm going to get home in time for some of this stuff. But so it goes. And yeah, True Love, just couch for you as well, huh?
Yeah. I gotta save up my energy for Martinsville.
Right, yeah. Yeah, getting down there, guys. Getting down to the bitter end.
Yep. Well, as always, you can follow us on Instagram at meetmeatapplebees. On Twitter, we're not doing Twitter anymore. Follow us on
Did you
YouTube.
delete it?
No, it's still there, but don't bother with Twitter.
Okay.
I am Speedway Screens on all the things. SpeedwayTSJ.etsy.com is the shop, and MMA Applebee's at checkout for 15% off.
Still, Snake Mountain, True Love. It's there.
That's the quietest one we've received. So quiet. Whisper quiet. Snake Mountain, True Love. Yeah. Rob Motes _ unofficial on Instagram. My band's called These Wild Plains. I know we have one single listener in the UK, Steve. And if you are listening this far into the episode, I recommend you go see my homies Psalm play. In fact, I know you work in live audio, so there's a good chance they're probably playing one of the venues you work at. But my homies in Psalm are out on tour with a band called Slow Crush and a band called Blanket right now. They're there for the next 2 weeks all over the UK, Ireland, Scotland, the UK, England. I don't know. There's not much going on there, but they're pretty much hitting the entire series of islands out there. So if they're anywhere near you, I can't recommend that band enough. One of my favorites and some of my closest friends. Also, Ben from These Wild Plains is out there running the boards for them. So, and driving on the wrong side of the road. So go buy him a drink and give him some confidence, because that's got to be fucking terrifying to drive right-hand drive for the first time. So, yeah. But yeah, go check them out.
Cool. And with that, the check is here. So thanks for joining us again in Applebee's, and we'll talk to y'all next week.